Hello there, it's Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be playing with some Easter goodies. I'm going to be hot foiling and sharing with you a tip about hot foiling your negative pieces. Now this is a collaboration of a lot of Easter things, but my focal point is going to be this foiled egg that is so gorgeous. I love it. It also comes with the words Happy Easter, and there are dies to cut out all three pieces. I have the main plate there on my hot foil system, and I'm putting on top of that some prism foil and white cardstock, and that is going to heat up for about a minute, and then I can run that through my die cutting machine to transfer that onto my paper. So you can see I have a shim in between my plates there, and I just need that for my machine. You may or may not need it for your own, but there you can see once it's heated, it's running through, and you can see my hot foil system is very well loved. I use it all the time. So now let's take a look at this image once it's transferred on there. It is gorgeous. I had a little excess foil. Now this is just sitting on top. It didn't like completely transfer, and I just need to dust that off. I think it's something with this particular foil. Like maybe my foil's old? I don't know. It was weird. But I'm going to take the negative piece there, and I have a solid hot foil plate. I'm putting the foil pretty side down onto that plate, and then a piece of cardstock on top of that. I'm going to add an extra shim whenever I do negative hot foiling. And then I'm going to make sure that heats up really well. Once it's heated up, I brought in my platinum machine. That's the 8.5 by 11 machine. And I'm putting this in at an angle. Now I'm running this through very slowly. And then I'm making sure it doesn't pop when it goes all the way through. And then I'm running it back towards me. So I've run it 2 times. And these tips are very helpful when hot foiling the reverse or negative piece of foil. So let's take a look at that. Also, what's really important is to have a very smooth piece of cardstock. So I got almost 100% transfer there. Loving it. And so this is a really great way to get more use out of not only your foil, but out of your hot foil plates. And you can see you can use the coordinating die to die cut that out. It works exactly the same. When you are die cutting out hot foiled pieces, that's what I'm trying to say, you don't want to put the foil onto your image, because if you do, it can pick up some of that foil, as you can see here. So be careful of that. And this is just an extreme case because it's a solid. Also, I got a little close to the edge, but I'm going to be able to use this anyway. And I wanted to show you what the Happy Easter looks like, even though I don't end up using it on this card. So now let's go back to the main image and color that up. So I am using some Copic markers here to color this up. It can be a little bit tricky, depending on the foil you use, because it can be hard to see the lines. So you might have to turn your head or turn it in the light so you can see. But I use some like peachy orange Copic markers there, and I thought I was going to kind of go with like one set of colors, and I really just went with like a bright Eastery feel. So this kind of pastel orange or kind of corally orange I thought was really pretty. I love that color. And then I wanted to show you the green markers I used. I didn't do any blending with those. And then I'm going to do that one flower in the front. It kind of feels like a different flower than the rest because it has pointed petals. I'm going to do that with some pinks. And then I'm going to bring in some yellow here eventually as well. So this is just really easy Copic coloring. I'm doing one dark color, one light color, and I always like to start with my dark color and then blend out with my lighter, but maybe you like to do the opposite. A lot of people do different techniques when coloring with Copics, and you just need to find what works best for you. All right, so I have Y04 as my lightest, no, this is my darkest yellow, and it's quite bright, but I'm going to soften that out with, I think it's Y11 I end up using, and I just needed another little burst of color. These colors really remind me of like the 70s. What do you think? I don't know, maybe. But also they are really fun Easter colors. I like bright and cheery Easter as much as I like pastel Easter. So there's my image all colored up. There's lots of different ways you could color this. I'm going to turn this into a shaker card surprise. If you watch any of my videos, you already know that I love shaker cards. I make them all the time. So I use the die that cuts out that image to cut a window into my base, and my base here, actually it's the card front, it's actually quite large. It's going to be an A9 sized card, which is a 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock folded in half. So this panel is just 1/4 of an inch smaller. I put my foam tape on the back surrounding my opening, which I covered with a window sheet, and now I'm going to create my own shaker mix. You can see the confetti pieces that I'm using there. They're iridescent, they're bright and cheery, and they really coordinate with the Copic coloring that I did. So I'll have all these things linked for you below. These confetti pieces are among some of the newest released from Trinity Stamps, and I thought it would also be good to add some white in there. So I did that, and I love this combination. It's so Eastery, and that's going to go right in to my shaker window. But I don't want too much static in there, so I used my anti-static powder tool, which was all well and good. But what I did not know is that when I dusted it, one of the hairs from that brush came loose, and it's going to be trapped in there for all time and eternity. Yeah, ask me how I feel about that. I don't love it. I'm going to back this with a second window sheet just to make life easier for myself in lining things up. Now, I thought I was going to put the colored one behind the window for my shaker, and that's why I didn't die cut it out and why I die cut out the other one. And then I decided, no, I'm going to put the negative foiled piece behind there. So I'm just trying to line this up very carefully, and that's why I have liquid glue there. So if I need to scoot it a little, I can. I actually did get it off a little bit, but I don't think it's a big deal. You know why? Because it's a handmade card. Yeah. All right, so now I'm gonna die cut out the one that I colored, and we're gonna just make a big scene here. So I'm gonna do some splattering on my background. I love splatter on my backgrounds, and I did a mix of mica spray, which is a mint color, and then I'm gonna do white acrylic paint on there, watered down so it splatters up nicely. I love splatter for Easter cards because it reminds me of eggs, like Easter eggs, candy eggs. I love it. So the paper I'm using is actually like a minty green cardstock that's pearlized, and I'm going to use some grassy borders on that. That was the Outdoor Borders die set I showed you there. It's a slimline set, and it works great for your A7 and A9 size cards as well. Now for my sentiment, I am using the EGGstra stamp set. You can see it's got this great sentiment that I'm embossing with white powder, and it has some eggs, outlines of eggs and solid eggs, and also dies to go with all the things. Now, what's cool about this die set is that each word has its own die, so you can die cut them out individually, so you can make it say your EGGstra, or your special, or your extra special, and you can arrange them how they best fit on your card. So I am offsetting these with a second die cut that I die cut from pink glitter cardstock, because if you're extra special, then you need an extra special card, and that means glitter and a shaker. All right, I am adding the grassy borders at the bottom, so it looks like that shaker egg is tucked down into the grass, and then the other one I'm going to tuck down into the first layer of grass, so one looks like it's a little bit farther away. And then I did die cut my grass a little bit longer because I like to cut the edge of things flush with my card instead of trying to cut it to begin with and then it's a little bit off by a hair. I don't like that. All right, I am gluing down the sentiment now, and you can see I kind of have them stair step down on my card. It's so very cute, and I'm all about offsetting my sentiments with a second layer right now, or a third. I'm loving that look. I'm mounting this to my A9 card, so 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, scored at 5.5, and folded over. Now, did you see my last video here on Trinity? I did reverse stamping with this bunny, which is from the Hop Hooray stamp set, and I had some extras left over, and I'm going to color one up. I am using my Arteza brush markers, and this ink that I stamped this with is a dye-based ink, so I'm trying to be really careful not to go over the black line and smudge it very much, but it's a dark brown bunny, so I think it's okay. Yeah, all right, so I am using 3 different colors. I'm kind of coloring this like I would if I was doing Copics. So starting with my darkest color, blending out that area with my mid-tone, and then I'll come in with my lightest, which is what you see me doing right here. And it works pretty good, and it kind of needed a minute for the ink to settle into the cardstock. So at first I was like, and then once I let it set for a minute, I was like, okay, I can handle this. And I actually really love how it turned out. So there is my little brown bunny. He is pretty cute. And another thing is this image didn't stamp out the best. Like this is one of the ones I was like, I don't know if I'm going to use that. So I just traced over it with a fine tip liner pen. And there is a reason why I stamp and I don't draw things. So yeah, this was pretty nerve-wracking for me. But in the end, I was like, hey, I did not do a bad job. So I used it, tucked it in the grass, and I need more bunnies. This card is big, it needs more. So I'm going to stamp out the 2 bunnies from the stamp set. There's the bunny that I reversed, and there's the other bunny holding an egg, and so they're all colored and die cut out. I did a solid gray bunny and then a white bunny with just a little bit of the gray shadowing there. And then it's holding an egg, which is so cute, which made me want to stamp out some of the eggs from the EGGstra set. So I'm going to do the solid eggs. I'm going to do 3 of each color. I've got some coral berry, orange cream, and fresh lemon, all from Altenew, and I actually end up using almost all of them. I think there's one of the eggs I didn't use. So solid stamping. What I like to do when I have a solid stamp and I'm stamping it with colored ink, I'm going to hold it onto my ink pad a little bit longer than I normally would. And then the same thing, when I stamp it down, I'm going to hold it onto my paper a little longer than I normally would. I die cut those out with the coordinating dies, and then I just glued them all over my card because this card is extra. So we have eggs, eggs, and more eggs. And that is almost it for the outside, but I wanted to add some hearts. And so I brought out this clay embellishment mix. It's got pink and white hearts in it, and they're like different sizes, different shapes, but I went with the pink and the white because it goes really well with my sentiment, and then it didn't look so busy around that, but it, you know, it definitely added to the look. So oh my word, I am pretty sure I love this card. I'm going to tell you, this is the card of stops and starts because I tried so many different things, different backgrounds, different bunnies, different techniques, and none of them were coming together, different sentiments. And so I had to cut a lot of that out or this would have been a really long video, even though I usually like to share those things with you. Today I couldn't. There was just too many. But I actually am really excited about how this turned out. So there I stamped on the inside as well, Happy Easter, which is from that Hop Hooray bunny stamp set. I did have a little stamping mishap on the inside. I'm going to put something there. I'm going to use my eraser, something on the inside for that little yellow mark. Splatter. I might splatter it. Yeah. So there's my finished card, and I wanted to show you the card from last week's video with the reverse stamping. You can see I put the 2 bunnies there facing each other and added that little shaker egg on that card as well. So if you missed last week's video, I will link it for you at the end of this one, and I hope to see you all again very soon on my next video here on the Trinity Stamps channel. I'm here on Saturdays, and if you want more inspiration from Trinity, please go check out our Instagram and our Facebook page as well. They're linked for you in the description box, as well as all the supplies I used today. I'll see you all again very soon. Happy stamping. Bye.